Alex, you look wonderful today.
Well, it is a day that ends in Y. So, and you know what? I'll be doing even better because I know our dear loyal viewers are going to want to dig in and become subscribers. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share to share our amazing beautifulness. And also make sure to contribute. You can do so via PayPal or become a Patreon member.
You sound like somebody in Pakistan reading from a customer service script
Well,
or computer.
I can't help it if my
You got to
voice...
put a little more sincerity into that whole deal.
Well, I leave that to you. Speaking of sincerity,
Don't leave
let's
emotions
talk a
to
little
me.
bit about...
You're the one who's emotional, not me.
Speaking of emotional mental people, you were just telling me about this weird phenomenon called oikophobia. What is that?
Oikophobia
Sounds great to me.
It's the fear of your own culture. It's the fear of your own home and the fear of your culture and your country. And the left seems to have contracted this very weird psychological disease because everything that we see from the left is hate America, hate white people, hate Christianity, hate Western Christian civilization, hate Judaism,
Heterosexual people.
Hate heterosexuality, hate homeschool. So oikophobia is the common disease of everybody left in this country.
So basically, okay. Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a little bit and say that you're just playing. You yourself are playing the victim card. You, the white man, are complaining about being a white man in a white man's country built for the white.
I'm just a psychiatrist treating the sick people with this mental disease. I'm not a victim. I'm not complaining that they do this.
You're saying that oikophobia is basically what the white liberal people are dealing with.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, just Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, RST, MLP, plus, minus, transphobias, all these trans people. They're all everybody on the far left has come down with a severe terminal case of oikophobia, hatred of home, hatred of nation, hatred of culture, hatred of tradition.
You know, I was just recording in a practice run for my upcoming radio series because I'm going to do that too. And one thing I brought up is the recent attacks in Germany, which left two on Yom Kippur, the holiest Jewish day, which left two dead Jewish people. In wake of that shooting, I reasoned, and I was just pontificating on the air, and I reasoned that I think the reason why we see a surge in Europe in these, especially in Germany, of all places to have anti-Semitic attacks, is because for 70 years they have been ingrained and pushed that, with the guilt of the Holocaust, which is completely understandable because it's kind of one of the worst atrocities in all of human history.
Right.
So, but, knowing that to act as though, my grandfather was a guard at Auschwitz. There's no way you can tell me that doesn't have a psychological bearing on you, who may very well be a nice person, a nice guy. Yeah. That will affect you. Yeah. And I'm not saying this is an excuse for the attackers by absolutely no means. It's horrible. But I do think it's fair to diagnose that oikophobia may be the reason for this disgusting outburst.
Well, it's that, but plus it's also the fact that humans are prone to guilt. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. I think some of our fans have written to us about that, but because there are a lot of psychology students and psychologists and professors out there that watch our podcast. But there's Jewish guilt, there's Catholic guilt, there's probably Armenian guilt, there's probably German guilt, there's Nazi guilt, there's commie guilt.
Nazis and commies deserve to be a little bit guilty because,
Yeah, they're responsible for over 200 million corpses. They have a lot to be guilty about. I'm not a big guilt guy, but if I had to wear that cross and carry that cross around, I'd be really wrenched with guilt. I'd be wringing my hands like a collective Pontius Pilate. If you analyze what's going on here with the far left, by the way, guilt is a self-consuming psychological disease, and it can become obsessive. You know this. our fans know this. It eats away the soul. It's a corrosive element of the soul. My grandfather told me that guilt is the interest paid on a debt that you never owed in the first place.
So if we do apply that, then it's not so much that people should feel guilty for their ancestors' past sins, but rather guilt is when you feel guilty for what your ancestors did or what somebody who had no connection with you did, right?
Right. That's true. But it even goes beyond that with the far left. They feel guilty about who they are. They feel guilty about being born with a gender biologically. So what they do is they deny biological gender assignment and they create their own fantasy. I'm going to be, an otherling. I'm going to create my own gender. And it infects their minds such that they can't think anymore. They can't reason anymore. You've tried to reason. I listened to your blogs and your video, and by the way, he has a great video channel. If you haven't tuned into on it,
yeah, Alex Alex space Madajian would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe.
And I follow them all, and I always make a comment. Please make a comment because he really does respond to the comments. But this oikophobia thing is there's a big article on Quillet magazine, online magazine, that actually turned me on to this whole idea, this whole concept of oikophobia. But it does explain why people are self-destructive, guilt-ridden, and uncomfortable with their entire home, their entire culture, their nation, their principles, and their values. It does explain that. And on the other side, I don't see any downside on those who are on the right political perspective, because they recognize that they stand on the shoulders of people who came before them.
They try and accent the good things rather than the left, which accents the bad things of our ancestors.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine feeling guilty
trade-off.
Can you imagine feeling guilty because you're heterosexual or that you have a penis or a vagina?
Or you want to get all the guilt of being a slave owner because you live in America or you're white?
Well, this is why you have such cockamamie proposals like AOC says lately she wants to do away with prisons because let's just do away with prisons.
There you go, oikophobia. So from Dr. Professor Mark McIntyre, the mouth of babes, you have the truth. And here's some more truth from the mouth of an even younger babe. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And we really appreciate your donations monthly or just through PayPal. It's all really loved and appreciated. And God bless all you lovely oikophobes out there.
And if you're suffering from oikophobia, call or write to Alex Madajian,
with the check. With the check. Big one.
Bye-bye, Alex.